You're furious over the brazen assault against the judicial system and the spirit of democracy? I've been hearing a lot of that lately. What's the current outrage? Efforts by government to eliminate checks and balances by eviscerating the power of the Supreme Court. Well, I know that the left isn't happy with the conservative justices and their decisions, but I haven't heard about an attack on the system. What's that? Not the United States Supreme Court? Oh, the Israeli Supreme Court. I see. By the way, what is your source of information? The New York Times, NPR, and comments by the Biden administration. Of course. What are they saying? That Netanyahu's ultra-nationalist right-wing government is attempting to strip the court of its power. You know, the rule for assessing political reporting is similar to the rule for evaluating advertisements. Believe the nouns, ignore the adjectives, and question the verbs. Did you know that the proposed changes seek to limit the Israeli Supreme Court justices' effective control over choosing their own replacements? You think that's logical? Since they are the greatest jurists in the country. Even if that's true, it contradicts the principle of checks and balances you were just arguing for. Do you know that beginning in 1977, an aggressively activist court contrived to vote itself the power to rule on moral issues, not just legal issues? In fact, activists pushed through legislation with only a quarter of the Israeli parliament voting to give the court constitutional authority. If the MPs didn't care enough to be there for the vote, they have no right to complain. I'm not sure that's true if the vote was hastily scheduled to take advantage of their absence. Did you know that for decades, the court followed an unwritten quota system, severely limiting the number of religious or politically conservative justices that could hold seats, regardless of their qualifications? Obviously, that was done to protect judicial integrity. I think that's a lot more obvious to progressives than it is to traditionalists. Did you know that the Israeli Attorney General is a de facto agent of the court, holding unilateral control over government action? Nobody trusts the government anyway, so that's a good thing. You might have a point, assuming we can trust the Attorney General. And did you know that a former left wing minister and Israeli prize laureate described the High Court as an alternative government? And that another Israeli prize winning legal scholar described the court selection process as a self perpetuating cult? It's curious that alarmists in the United States are accusing our Supreme Court of shredding the Constitution, even though conservative justices here don't have a fraction of the power that progressive justices have on the Israeli High Court. Don't their double standards make suspect their intellectual, journalistic, and political integrity? What's that? If what I'm saying is true, how do I explain why some Israelis are protesting against the proposed reforms? Maybe because they get their information from the same places that you get yours.